Welcome to the 2013 KVIE Art Auction, celebrating 32 years of visual arts in our region. More than 250 pieces will be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and you can be a part of the action by watching and bidding on your favorite pieces. View the entire collection online at kvie.org/art auction. Then, when your favorite item appears, call 1-800-270-6601 to place your bid. You can also interact live with the auction team on Twitter using hashtag KVIEArts. Remember to bid high and bid often. And now, let the auction begin. Sold.
It's easy to bid on items featured in the art auction. Here's how. Explore the collection online at kvie.org/art auction. Make note of the date and time your favorite artwork comes up for bid, or stay tuned. When a piece of art catches your eye, quickly call 1-800-270-6601 and a volunteer will assist you. Most items will be sold in less than 7 minutes. Bid high and bid often so you don't miss any of your favorite items.
Stay tuned for the Viewpoint Photographic Art Center coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. Located in Midtown Sacramento, Viewpoint focuses on the thriving, energetic, and supportive photography community through exhibits, lectures, and events. Explore the entire collection online at kvie.org/art auction. Bid high and bid often.
Hey, it might be raining outside, but we're having a great time in here. Good afternoon and welcome to the KVIE Art Auction. This portion of the art auction is presented by Wells Fargo. We want to thank Wells Fargo Bank for supporting public television and art. And of course, we appreciate your support. And now let's take a quick look at all that art. And by the way, I'm Jason Schultz and I'm joined here today with Paula Wenzel-Bellicera. Thanks for joining me. We'll be talking about all this artwork for the next half hour. Let's take a look at it. Fractured, that's the 17A, and look at this beautiful piece here by Steph Baxter. This is a nice stroll through the woods. Buddha Offering by Renee Domingo. Lucky Strike by Dave Losey. That's a beautiful piece. South of Oahu Beach in New Zealand, Jeff Redmond. Contemplating Yellowstone, John Swain. And Welcome Home by Dan Ward. And I love this piece here, Welcome Home by Dan Ward. Makes me want to go home and kick my feet up on the couch. Well, I'm joined by, as I mentioned, Paula Wenzel-Bellicera, Jurors Award-winning artist in this year's collection. Welcome, Paula, and thank you so much for joining me. You know, we have a very special collection for this next half hour from the Viewpoint Gallery, and you have a special connection with them as well.
That's right. Well, Viewpoint dates back to the 1980s when Jeff Redmond, who is featured in this collection of photography this half hour, with one of his really lovely panoramic pieces. I was a charter member of Viewpoint when it became a nonprofit in 1991, and their mission is to bring photographic education to the community through exhibits of historic and contemporary photography, as well as lectures from leading photographers, workshops, field trips. I really encourage you to see what they have to offer, and their gallery is located at 2015 J Street. It's open noon to 6 Tuesday through Thursday and noon to 5 on Friday and Saturday.
And we are honored to have them featured here today on KVIE, and really excited to have the opportunity for you to bid on this wonderful artwork. Let's take a look at 17A right now. This is Fractured. Now this is really a walk in the woods, and it captures your eye, draws it right to the middle, the fractured piece of wood here, right?
Yes, that's absolutely right. And I think that the photographer did this really nice technique of drawing your eye to the fractured wood. It actually feels like there's movement, even some kind of whirlpool around the edges, because the edges are soft focus, and as you get closer and closer, very sharp focus here at the center.
And this could be in any patch of woods and anywhere around our region, and it feels like you're right there. You're looking at it. You're having a nice, comfortable spot. Any of the techniques that really catch your eye?
Well, I think the photographer's staff was imitating one of the early lenses that are less perfect, and she captured this vintage look very well. And this piece was actually shown at the Crocker Museum and is quite an award-winning piece.
Well, now is the time to call if you want this piece in the Crocker Museum. What a great opportunity for you. We've got a bid at $125. We need $150. Now's the time to call. 1-800-270-6601. Get this artwork in your home. Where do you think you might see this? I mean, this could go really anywhere in your house, but I envision a study or...
I think it's a real focal point. I think you can use this in a narrative way in your living room. People will be enthralled by it and have questions and maybe create their own interpretations. That's
really one of the beautiful things about having artwork in your house, is being able to tell a story about how you got it, and maybe that story involves, hey, I got this from the KVIE Art Auction, and people will have something to talk about. So to make that happen, you really need to call right now, 1-800-270-6601. Let's hear those phones ring. Now, do we know where this was taken?
I don't know where it's taken, but part of the currency I like to look at it with investing in art is it's an emotional investment. It's something that I can look at every day and see something new. That's something I really look for when I collect art.
Me too, and I hear the phones ringing. Let's go to the phone bank with Dee.
Hi, I want to say a little bit about the Viewpoint Gallery. They have been in the auction longer than any other gallery that participates. So we'd like to say thank you to Viewpoint, and thank you for picking out the best of your artists to represent your gallery here in this next half hour. And what you can do to encourage these Viewpoint artists and to thank them for donating to KVIE is to get on the phone right now, call 1-800-270-6601 and get a top quality piece of photography in your collection today. So let's go back to Paula, our art expert, so she can tell us some more about that gorgeous piece.
Yeah, let's hear some more about this piece, and what a good observation, which is, you know, encourage the artists, and you can do that by bidding right now. Now's your chance.
Well, I want the viewers to remember that every major museum in the United States and world collects photography. So if you have started an art collection, you really need to get some photography in that collection. And there's nothing better than to collect something that's classic, a black and white photograph such as this, with a little hint of a vintage look to it. It's just a perfect addition to a new or existing collection.
And now's the time to call, 1-800-270-6601. Let's hear those phones ring. Now let's take a look at our next piece here. Buddha Offering. And what a wonderful piece this is. This was by the artist Renee Domingo. Now we have a retail value of $300 on this piece. And you know, there's a wonderful history to this one as well, isn't there?
This piece was photographed in a temple in Kyoto, Japan. And the title of the piece is Offering. And I asked the photographer what the meaning was of this cloth. And it's like a bib, and this particular enlightened being, this particular sculpture is it's devoted to children, a protector of children. And so the bib may be a thank you offering or a request for protection. And this coin, the beautiful texture, a juxtaposition of this coin offering against the stone of the sculpture and the cloth. It is a beautiful photograph, and you'll also note that the edges are darkened a little. That's called vignetting. Really draws the eye to this center, to the halo, so to speak, around the Buddha's head. You're looking at the prayer beads as well. It's just a perfect image.
And the question really for you folks at home is, why haven't you bid on this yet? Because it's just it's a peaceful, beautiful piece that would really look lovely in your house, really anywhere. And to me, the color that is drawn out and the texture of the sculpture itself is really amazing.
Once again, it's a black and white photograph, you know, very traditional look, a really great addition to any collection. And I want to remind the viewers that This is a very important and significant segment where these photographers are from Viewpoint Gallery, and they're all award winners, they're all professionals, and this is the best that we have. This is great photography.
And, you know, it's just, and to me, the story behind it that you were mentioning, that's a story you can tell anyone that comes to your house that gets to see it. You can tell them how you got it, you can tell them the story behind it, but in order to do that, you need to bid right now. Call that number on your screen, 1-800-270-6601. You know, your bids obviously help us right here at KVIE. You love KVIE programming, we love the arts. It's a great relationship, but you need to call right now to get that art in your home. Let's go to the phone bank.
Okay, this is our showcase of photography, folks. It is your chance to own some of California's best-known photographers and help out Channel 6 at the same time, right, Jessica?
Right. We want to hear those phones ringing, so pick up the phones and call us at 1-800-270-6601.
Remember, these go in 3 to 4 minutes. So if you see a piece that's coming up and it's not up on air yet, you want to get on that phone so you make sure that you can bid as soon as your favorite piece hits. We're going to close piece 17A at $125. It's got a $250 value. Going once at $125, twice, 3 times at $125. You snooze, you lose. So, yeah, so let's get up on piece number 17B, the Buddha piece. It's time to bid, folks. Let's go back out and look at that piece one more time.
You know what? You're absolutely right, Dee. You said it exactly. You snooze, you lose. You may be looking at this saying, oh, that's nice. I'm thinking about calling in and getting it. Well, don't just think about it. Do it. Call right now because they want to take your bid.
This piece is part of a series that the photographer's doing on Buddha iconography. And I think it's just an exemplary piece, and it's significant to the photographer who selected this particularly to put in the auction.
And when I look at it, I see, you mentioned the coin. That's the first thing that someone's going to see when they see this in your house. They're going to say, what's that tucked behind that little drape there? And you can tell them the story about it because they may not be Buddhist, and you don't have to be Buddhist to purchase this, obviously. It's really just it's a wonderful piece. Let's get those phones ringing. Call right now, 1-800-270-6601. You need to call to get this piece in your home. The retail value of this is $300. Let's get the bidding started.
As the camera goes across the photograph, you can see the beautiful textures of the stone and the coin, the metal of the coin and the fabric. There's a lot of crisp detail in this photograph.
There really is, and we mentioned the story behind it, but you know, besides that, just the beauty of the photograph is really amazing.
Well, it's very serene.
And if you want this piece, you need to call right now. 1-800-270-6601 is the number. Let's move on. Now let's take a look at this. This is called Lucky Strike, Lock 2013. And this is one of these pieces that has more questions than answers when you look at it. And to me, it's really just a fun piece. And you take a look at it and you go, what's going on here, right?
Well, I'm a photographer, and I'm puzzled as well. I look at this, and there's multiple layers. There's this Lucky Strike, and I'm wondering, is that a decal on the window here? It looks like it's a storefront, but you could also see a reflection of a building behind. This is typical of lock with the Chinese characters. And up at the top, when you go back up and take a look up there, there's also a little note that I can't quite read. I'm gonna stick my nose in here and see. Oh, maybe you can. If you get this piece, maybe you'll be able to read this note up here at the top. Fabulous textures. There's these old Venetian blinds and the pulleys, the wood grain of the window frame, and the mystery of what is it we're looking at? Is it a double exposure? Is it 2 different images laid over each other?
There is a lot of mystery to this.
Yeah.
To me, that's what captivated me when I saw the first, because you see from across the room, you say, oh, it's a photograph of a package of cigarettes laying on a table or something.
Yeah.
And then you get closer and no, that's not what it is at all. There's a window, there's some characters on the window, there's a note and some blinds. There's so much going on.
It's very mysterious. And this piece won an award at the California State Fair. So it's a very valuable piece.
Well, let's go over to the phone bank because it's your time to call right now, 1-800-270-6601.
Okay, I just want to let everybody know we got a bell ringer on Buddha offering Number 17B, that's what we like to see here at the auction. We have not closed this out. You can still bid on it. We got the retail price, which is what the artist intended. This is a very good group of strong photographs. So if you're lacking photography in your personal art collection, now's the time to make that photography edition. I've got Mary Ellen Lane, one of our artists here, who has not only donated to the auction, but she's been working really hard all this weekend. So let's get these phones ringing and let's get some photographs into your collection. Let's go back to Paula.
Hey, you know what? A bell ringer is a good thing if you ask me, right?
I'm really proud of that. You guys out there, keep it
Good
coming.
job. Let's get a bell ringer on this one too, right? Lucky Strike, right here, Locke 2013. If you've been to Locke, you know it is an interesting town. So this perfectly captures the town of Locke, if you ask me.
What I like about the piece is that it's kind of a sepia tone, kind of the older vintage look to it, captures the town flavor, which is very textural. If you've been to Locke, you know there's a lot of peeling paint and exposed wood grain, and it is mysterious with all the Chinese influence, and there's art. It's like an art colony there. There's an art gallery. It's a beautiful place on the Delta.
And you know, you weren't kidding when you said there is a note taped to the top there that you can actually sort of read.
Can you read it?
Yeah,
Can
just
you?
if you squint and look very closely, you can actually read that. So I think, you know, just to be able to read that in your house alone is reason that you need to bid right now. Call that number on your screen, 1-800-270-6601. Get this beautiful photograph in your home, and the next time you go to Locke, you can try to find where this is at.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
It's like a treasure hunt.
a treasure hunt and like your own little scavenger hunt. So now is the time to bid on Lucky Strike Locke 2013. Give that number a call. Let's get a bell ringer on this one. We just had one a moment ago, and you know that all of your bids support KVIE, and we need those donations to keep the station going and bring the programming that we do. Let's go over to the phone bank with Dee. Hey, Dee.
Where's your salon? And you say it. Hi. Here we are in the phone bank. I'm here with Brianna. She has been making us beautiful all weekend and doing our hair, and we'll be doing it tomorrow. I wanted to, where's your salon?
It's at 3200 Folsom Boulevard, and it's Detail Salon.
And you guys just recently moved there, right?
We did. We just relocated from N Street, so we expanded, and it's a great move, and we love the neighborhood.
And they've had all of their beautiful gals here working on us all weekend. They've been doing that so we look good on TV. We don't look good when the phones aren't ringing. So let's get these phones ringing. We'd like to thank Brianna and Detail Salon. We'd like to thank you for watching. We'd like to thank you for calling right now and placing a bid on one of these beautiful pieces of photography. Let's go back to Jason.
Dee, I want to see the folks that are sitting there with you on the phone, not just standing there watching. We need to get those phones ringing. I like the sound of the phone ringing right now. Let's move on to our next piece. This is south of Oahu Beach in New Zealand, and this is a beautiful piece by Jeff Redmond. And what I was telling you before, Paula, when we looked at this is when someone walks in your house and sees this, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, that's Mendocino, or that's somewhere along the coast, and you can tell them the story behind it, which is, no, it's not. That is actually New Zealand, and it's just a beautiful photograph.
Jeff is an exquisite photographer, and as I mentioned, he was the founder of Viewpoint Gallery, and he's been a professional photographer for many years. This panoramic piece is very amazing because of the light, because of how the light, you know, I don't know, you're panning, I see the camera's panning across it now. You can see the beautiful, beautiful light just striking on these hills, the color of the ocean. You could hear the breakers almost on the beach. And then as the camera pans over, you could see the foliage. The grasses have kind of a hint of color, a little warm color. This might have been sunrise or sunset, I can't tell you which. Look at the color in the clouds, the blue contrasting a little bit of green in the ocean, and it is so crisp. The photograph is just immaculately printed.
It is immaculately printed. It is so lifelike. And, you know, if you've ever been on the beach in the morning or in the evening, you said, I want to capture this moment forever, and you get your camera out and you take a picture and you bring it home. In this case, you can capture that moment and you will feel like you are there. And, you know, the memories and the wonderful feelings you have when you spend some time on the beach, it's so peaceful and tranquil, and this captures it beautifully. It really does. It's hard to put into words.
Well, I love the panoramic aspect of this piece because over in the far left corner, as I'm looking at it, you're just getting the edge of the ocean, and then as you go around, you get into the mountains. So it really is a panorama. Look at the beautiful light on those mountains and the slight color tints in the clouds and the open sky in the background. And on that far hill, you could see little trees, a little forest or wooded area, and then another piece of warm light at the edge of it looks like it's a cove.
Yes.
Or a
little inlet there.
Yeah.
And the phones are ringing, you know. You can hear them ringing, but we always have a line open for you. You need to call right now. And this is really a showcase piece.
Absolutely.
I could see this in your dining room or in an office. It really stands out.
Perhaps on a mantle over a fireplace, really I think we need to throw over to the phone bank.
They've got something going on in the phone bank, and we better get over there.
I am here with the lovely Lisa Hartzell, and we are looking at Lucky Strike Lock, which is a beautiful photograph. It's taken through a window, and it's got this great reflection going on. I fell in love with this photograph, not here at the auction. I saw it as an award-winning piece at the California State Fair, and so I was very pleased when they entered it into the auction. It shows you the quality of the photography that we've gotten this year. It only has a bid right now of $90. It's a chance to own a really beautiful piece from an important photographer. We need to get that bid up so you can own an award-winning piece as well. Let's go back to Paula.
Hey, you know, we've got a bid of $275 on this piece right now, and we need to get the phones ringing for more bids. If you think you want this in your house, and I think you do, you need to call right now. PBS is all about exploration, and if you've ever explored the beach, you know just how tranquil and peaceful it can be, and that is exactly what this captures.
Well, it's kind of a window, you know, and as I was saying before we jumped over to the phone bank, it would be a beautiful piece over, you know, a mantle. You know, like a fireplace mantle. It's really a focal point, and it's a great discussion piece, and it's very quiet and serene. And
you know what's going to happen is you're going to get this and you're going to put this in your home, and we think you should, and then you're going to be looking at it every day, and the next thing you know, you're going to be buying some tickets to New Zealand. And you're going to find this point, right? And you're going to say, it is just as beautiful as it is in the photograph. It really is a wonderful piece. And the phones are ringing, but we have lines open for you. You need to call right now and get this wonderful piece out of New Zealand.
I'd like to quote Jeff, who's the photographer, Jeff Redmond, hopes you will feel the pull of the place as if you are standing on the shore.
You know what? That is exactly... He captured it.
Do you feel it?
Yeah, I can feel
do.
I want to put on my swim trunks and run in that water right now.
It might be cold.
Well, maybe, but, you know, we'll try it anyway. Now's the time to call. 1-800-270-6601. If you want this in your home, you need to call right now because we do have bids coming in. $325 is our bid right now. We need to bring that up. The retail value on this is $600, and we think it is a perfect piece for your home. You know what, we've got two bidders now. We have two bidders. Let's make this an auction. Let's make this the real deal. We want to hear this thing get going, because if we've got two folks that are interested in this, you know, maybe there's someone else who is. So if you think you want this piece, if it's at all interesting to you, and it's interesting to me, and it should be interesting to you, you need to call right now. Let's take a look at this one more time. Call right now, 1-800-270-6601. Let's move on to our next piece. And this, you know, you want to talk about nature's beauty. The last piece that we just looked at was beautiful as well. And this is as well. This is Contemplating Yellowstone by John Swain. Retail value of $650. And what a beautiful photograph of a gentleman looking at a sign there as you look at the beautiful scenic Yellowstone behind him. It's just wonderful.
John Swain was another founding member of Viewpoint Gallery and is a highly accomplished photographer. I think he's been at it 35 years. And he has done travel books. He's well known. He's had books published by Chronicle Press. And this is one of his forte, to do these kind of travel photographs. It's amazing black and white. I love the tone, the depth from the blacks to the whites, and I love the sky is so turbulent but soft, In comparison to all of the trees along the far shore, is he standing at a meadow? What do you think he's standing at?
It looks like a meadow or a plain that gets water sometimes and then drains out on other occasions, because he is on some sort of dock there.
Right, it looks like it's on some kind of wooden path.
Yeah, and to me the clouds drew me in, and you can see the line from the clouds drawing your eye toward the gentleman standing there, and it kind of puts things in, to me, I thought, wow, this really puts things in perspective in terms of how big the earth is, right, and how little we are.
It really does put it on the human scale, and it really captures the grandeur of Yellowstone and our other national parks. And I'd like to repeat myself, every collection should have a photograph, and this is a classic black and white photograph executed by a fabulous photographer, well-known, award-winning, published photographer, and it needs to be in your collection.
Think about that. You have an opportunity right now. If you pick up the phone right now, you can get this beautiful piece by an award-winning photographer, and all you have to do is call and bid. We need to get that phone ringing, 1-800-270-6601. And one of the things about where we live, near national parks, near mountains, near beaches, is we get to experience these things firsthand. Why not bring something, some beautiful nature, and bring it into your home to remind you of some of the trips you've taken with your family, with your friends, because we know how important those are and how lucky we are to live where we do.
Or places you'd like to visit.
Or Yellowstone. If you've never been to Yellowstone and you're looking for some incentive, here it is, right here. You need to call right now, 1-800-270-6601.
The beautiful photograph.
It really is. Let's go over to the phone bank. What's going on over there, Dee?
Okay, all you Kiwis, we've got the south of Wahoo Beach, New Zealand right here behind me. This is a breathtaking photo. What I love about this is it's got such nice proportion. It's one of those pieces that would look really nice over a fireplace mantle in a formal dining room. It's one of those things you look at it and you just want to be there. I kind of want to be there right about now. So we've only got a bid of $450 and it's a $600 retail value. So let's see if we can get that bid up and get these phones to ring. I'd like to get it to $500. Now is the time to call because it's going to go here in about a minute and a half. So let's go back out and see some more work.
Someone is going to end up with that beautiful photograph from New Zealand. Make it be yourself if you call right now. Back to this piece. One of the things that I was thinking about is it makes you wonder what this gentleman is contemplating.
Well, what is he contemplating?
What do you think he's contemplating?
The beauty, the vast beauty of the area.
It's just an amazing photograph, and we sure hope you call right now, 1-800-270-6601. An award-winning photographer in your home if you call right now.
I wanted to mention that John Swain has been in the Crocker Kingsley, which is a very prestigious competition. He's a very accomplished photographer.
Call now for that piece. Let's move on. And this is a welcoming photograph. This is called Welcome Home, and it's by the photographer Dan Ward. And so this is not out in nature. This is not Yellowstone. This is not a beach. This is some front steps and a newspaper. But you look at it and it draws you in and it feels kind of warm and kind of welcoming.
I'm glad you feel that way about it. I think it's a beautifully executed photograph. I love this newspaper or magazine that's kind of crumpled up on the steps there. And the title Welcoming Home is, it's a place to surrender to. It's a place to come home with the light. It looks like it's evening light and the light is on the staircase and it beckons you, leads you right up into a nice warm place to settle in and be peaceful after a long, hard day.
It has a casual feel to it, and the thing I love about it is there's a crumpled up newspaper that either, whoever was coming home threw it on the stoop when they got home from work, or it was sitting there from the morning. It's been sitting there all day waiting for you to read. But Welcome Home by Dan Ward can be yours. 1-800-270-6601. We do have one bid on this, and let's get those phones ringing for some more bids. What is it about this one that caught your eye?
Well, it has a beautiful tonal range. It has detail in the lights and shadows. I love what's on screen right now, that close-up of the papers. He's a very accomplished photographer, And he's affiliated with Viewpoint. That's what we're about this half hour, and it's a great organization.
We've got a bid of $70 right now. It doesn't take much for us to get that to 100. All it takes is you picking up the phone and calling 1-800-270-6601. You know what I would love on this piece is to get a bell ringer on this. Because it would be so easy.
As we were talking about with some of the other pieces today, it's really fun to have something that is a narrative that tells a story that everybody who looks at it could find something different to say about it.
You know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of the steps at my grandparents' house.
Oh.
And when I was a child, sitting on the steps with my grandparents or playing with my cousins and that kind of thing. To me, that's because I don't have steps like this in front of my house now, but even if you don't have a set of front steps, it will remind you of something. Let's go over to the phone bank.
Hi, I'm standing here with the beautiful Contemplating Yellowstone by John Swain. I have a bid of $195. I need a bid of $250 on this. It has a retail of $650. He is an artist that shows regularly with the Viewpoint Gallery, which is quite an honor. So let's get that bid in right now. Let's get that bid in right now. We've got a whole new phone crew, and you guys are all ready to go, right? They are ready to go. They're ready to take your call. Please call 1-800-270-6601. Let's go back to Paula.
All right, thank you, Dee, and thank you to all of our bidders. You know, your support is appreciated and will help keep public television strong in the Central Valley. Stay with us because we've got a lot more original art coming up next.
Stay tuned for the photography category coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. Juried by Martin Christian, this category features a selection of photographs, limited editions, and etchings. View all of the categories featured in this year's auction at kvie.org/art auction. Bid high and bid often.
And welcome back to the KVIE Art Auction. You know, we've got more original art for you to bid on and buy coming up. So let's get it started by taking a quick look at all of the art up for bid in this next half hour. Let's start with this one, and this is a beautiful piece, Raging Waters by Rhonda Kennedy. It's photography measuring 39 by 29. And the next piece, Fall Equinox Light by Pamela Tribus. Photography measuring 21 by 16 and a half. Another World by Michael Fitzwater. Photography measuring 16 by 20. Cowboy Portrait by Alan Fischletter. Photography measuring 16 by 20. American Gothic. Curtis Hagen. Photography measuring 26 by 20. And Papi and Clover by Lewis Kemper, and that's photography as well, measuring 28 by 22, and a beautiful piece that is. Well, let's get this started here with this wonderful piece here that takes you to a setting that's very familiar to folks in Northern California. Our art expert, Paula Wenzel-Belisara, is here to join us and talk about 18A. Tell me about this piece.
Well, it is taken in Yosemite during a very wet year.
Yes.
And it's just a kind of a slice of Yosemite and a slice of what the photographer saw. I talked to Rhonda at the gala, and she said this water came rushing down one side of the road and continued on the other side of the road. And she used a slow shutter speed, which means the camera was open long enough to capture these rushing waters and create something that you don't get to see with your naked eye. It's a beautiful effect that you get with photography. And right next to it, you see the branches are crisp and clear with the soft rushing water behind. I love that about this piece. It's a very large piece, and it feels kind of like a black and white as you first look at it, but you can see that there's, you know, on the rocks have these beautiful earth colors. There's some red and yellow, and
even
the
on
water,
the branches too.
The branches
yeah.
have some color, and there's some blue in the water, and it just has a amazing, it's full of energy, but yes, it's refreshing and kind of peaceful at the same time.
You know, you touched on the photographic technique, and I'd like you to talk about that a little bit more. And I hear the bell ringing, which is a good thing. the veins in the water, because of the photographic technique that she used, it really draws them out. The lines, you can feel it. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, it's like it's the opposite of slow motion, I guess. It's where the camera is capturing the motion all at once that we see in repetition. It's all placed in one single image. So in this image, for example, some water droplet here during the exposure might come all the way down here, and that's why it looks like a ribbon of water.
And we have a bid on that as right now our bid is at $260. You need to call right now if you're interested in this, because this is a hot ticket. 1-800-270-6601. Call now, because you know your bid supports KVIE Public Television, and we need the support.
I love the wetness of the rocks. It's very refreshing, and the detail of how the rocks are just making they have divots where the water rushes off in little different directions, and it really captures the spirit of flush with water.
And it's a nice size too. It's a large photograph. It would hang perfectly on your wall, above your mantle, possibly, or in your dining room. You know what I thought when I saw this? I thought about climbing these rocks.
Oh.
When I was like, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I like about art, is like it gets you into the image, it gets you into the emotion or the environment.
You need to call right now if you want this piece, 1-800-270-6601. We have a bid of $260. If you're interested, now is the time to call. And do we know where exactly in Yosemite this was taken?
I don't think so. I'm going to check my notes right now.
But that's one of the amazing things about Yosemite is at some times there could be very little water flowing through this. And you've been there when it's been that. And then there's times when we have so much snow melt that it's just rushing through. And just maybe a couple years ago when we had so much snow melt is when you would have a situation like this, and that's when you can hear it and you feel just the majesty of where we live.
The power of the water.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go over to the phone bank and see what's cooking over there, Dee.
All right, we're here with some new phone bank volunteers from Sutter Cardiology. Thank you so much for coming in. We also have a few volunteers from Safe Credit Union, so we really appreciate our volunteers coming in, and they are waiting for your call. So call now, 1-800-270-6601. Now's the chance. Call, make those phones ring. Take it away. Back to you guys.
All right, we will take it away. We want those folks standing around you to be picking up the phone. Right now we have a high bid of $260. This has a retail value of $450. So you need to call now if you want this in your home. To me, it could go almost anywhere in the house.
Well, I want to talk about what's exciting to me about this piece is the contrast between the rushing water, you can feel the force, and the very serene foliage here that is just standing perfectly still. You've got this rush of water and the stillness. It's a beautiful image.
And that's a good point, because it really highlights what you're getting when you bid on artwork at KVIE in photography here, because you get award-winning photographers, award-winning artists who can do this, who can capture the waterfall, who can capture the branches and put it all together in just a spectacular piece. It's hard to describe, but it is really an amazing photograph.
Well, I'd like to mention that Rhonda also has had work selected by National Geographic, so she is an award-winning photographer.
Well, I can see why, because this piece here really draws you in, and it does make you feel. And then you've got the pooling water on the bottom, in the mist, in the phone. You can hear it. You know what I mean? You can hear the raging waterfall, and I can also hear that phone ringing right now, which is a good thing. So if you're interested in this, call now. We're up to $260. If we can get a nice auction going on this piece, I'll be happy. Isn't it great?
I want to point out again that on air you might think it's a black and white, but there are subtle earth colors that run through it, and it appears like it may be kind of a foggy day or a cloudy day. So that adds to the drama of the water and the stillness of the plant and the rush of the water and the wetness over the rock. There's a lot of textures here.
One of the things that we've got is Yosemite in our backyard, and it's like anything, we take it for granted, but here it is, and here's your chance to bid on it. 1-800-270-6601. Now is your chance to call. Okay, we're going to move on now. Let's move on to our next piece, and this will be 18B. This is Fall Equinox Light by Pamela Tribus. Now this is not a waterfall. You're not sitting next to a raging waterfall. You are in perhaps a much more peaceful location. Your bedroom, an office, a study, living room, and what a beautiful piece this is.
It is so dramatic. The light is breathtaking. This was photographed early morning as the light was breaking in on the fall equinox, which you know only happens once a year, and so this photographer had everything set up in order to capture this really perfect image. The light, you could see, is making these beautiful shadows and these reflections of the glass, and the light is falling directly on the leaves and the flowers. And it shows really beautifully. Oh, now we can see more of it. There's this beautiful table. You can see the wood grain. You can see leaves and petals that have come off of the bouquet. The glass is just beautifully exploding light in its shadow. There's kind of a shadow play on the wall. It's almost like a storytelling, or like, you know, puppets or something.
And the light is refracting through that vase there, and it's casting that wonderful shadow on the back. You know, the thing I thought about with this is those flowers are probably pretty colorful, even though some of the petals are falling on the ground there. But one of the things I thought about is what a wonderful black and white photograph.
It's a wonderful classic photograph, and every art collection needs to have photography, and what better to do than classic vintage black and white photography.
And now's your chance to call on that one, 1-800-270-6601. Let's move on to the next piece. This is 18C by Michael Fitzwater, and this is another world, and this is kind of a funky, fun photograph, right?
Does it make you smile?
It does. I love this piece.
See, does it make you wonder what the heck this is?
Yeah, you know what? That was the first question I had, and you answered it for me. So let's tell folks, what are we looking at, first of all?
We're looking at an outdoor shower at an artist studio in Mendocino. And next to the outdoor shower, you will see an outdoor medicine cabinet. And that makes me laugh as well. The medicine cabinet is a mirror. So this area here, what is this? Looks like it's a mirror to another world, kind of like Alice through the looking glass.
And it's reflecting something off camera that you cannot see. That's
exactly.
What it looks. It's hard to tell it's a mirror, but it's pulling in something from the outside, which is a great effect. And where was this taken? This outdoor shower could have been at a campsite, or?
Well, I think it's an artist studio, as I indicated, in Mendocino. And I talked to the photographer at the gala, and I asked him about the setup. You know, how did he set it up? How did he shoot it? He said that he did not set anything up. It was just the way it was. Of course, he selected his camera angle and, you know, all that goes into good photography. But right here, and you'll see in a moment, almost off camera is a bottle of, I think, Myers soap that goes with the shower and the medicine cabinet. And it just makes me want to laugh because it's right there. You could grab it if you're going to take a shower, and it's a mystery. Why is it there? Why is it included in the photograph?
It has and the photograph itself has such a rustic feel. If you've ever been camping or ever been out and about, you know, you've probably taken an outdoor shower, and you know it's probably cold, right? The water, you're going to turn the water on, it's going to be cold.
Yes.
And you're sort of exposed and out there, and there's your mirror and your medicine cabinet, but it's got a lot of fun to it. You know, a real fun photograph. This could go almost anywhere in your house, right?
I think so. I wanted to talk about the wonderful texture. We haven't really addressed the texture of the wood and the texture of all of the parts that make this shower, that welded together, and nuts and bolts, and how it comes mysteriously from underneath the house, and the texture of the platform for taking the shower.
We do have a bid. $100 for this piece is our high bid right now. If you call right now, you can get in on the action. 1-800-270-6601. If you're interested in this, we have some interest, so you're not the only one. Let's send it over to the phone bank and find out what's going on over there.
Well, hey there, everybody. It's Heath over in the phone bank. I'm here with a great group of volunteers. They are ready to give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah. They're ready to take your calls of support. We want to get these phones ringing. 18A, there you go, there you go. That's how we make this an auction. Item 18A, Raging Waters, we have a high bid of $375. Now's the time to take it up to $400. 18B, Fall Equinox Light, we have a bid of $140. That is a bell ringer. 18C, Another World, we've got a bid of $175. That's 25 away from being a bell ringer, folks. You can make this entire break a bell ringing break, and it takes you calling 1-800-270-6601 and put this volunteer Linda to work. Back to you, Jason.
Let's put Linda to work, everybody. Come on, I want to see her on the phone. And let's make this whole break a bell ringer break. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be great.
All of our pieces getting bell ringers. Let's move on to our next piece here. This is Cowboy Portrait by Alan Fischletter. And this is a nice piece. Let's take a look at this. This is 16 by 20. It's a color photograph. Tell me a little bit more about this, Paula.
Well, you know, when you think of a portrait, you usually think of someone's face or torso. And this time, Alan chose to focus on the working part of this cowboy. This was taken at a annual spring calf branding in the KVIE Valley. And you can see this is a working cowboy. He's got his, it's nice to note, he's got his wedding ring. Look at the texture here. Look at the rope, the horn of the saddle, the cloth, the blanket under the saddle, the chaps, all the fringe. His shirt looks very crisp. But look at this. Look at the mane and the little hair standing up over here. Beautiful texture with a backdrop of the foothills with the trees and the green. And actually, there's another cowboy. Do you see the other cowboy in the picture?
Yeah, he's got his back to the lens, and that's one of the things that I love about it is you're right there. You feel like you're right next to this cowboy in the foreground, but this must have been with a long lens because you get the background out of focus, and just what an amazing photograph. And like you mentioned, the texture of that rope, it's bright yellow. And you feel like they're about to get that rope around a leg of a calf, right?
I love the framing because it augments the color in the photograph. There's a blue frame that just picks out that blue jean look, and it's a nice 8-ply mat, museum mat. It works, it's stunning.
We have a bid on this piece right now. $60 is our high bid, but the retail value on this is $175, so it wouldn't take much to get it to be a bell ringer. If you're at all interested in this piece, we encourage you to call right now, 1-800-270-6601. And it also highlights, you know, we're talking about the natural beauty of Yellowstone, and we're talking about Yosemite and the beach nearby, all the wonderful things we have close to us. And this is KVIE Valley. We've got so much agriculture.
It's a fabulous, everybody should go visit KVIE Valley and the farms.
I was just there.
Orchards, were you?
I was just there recently, and I had you forget about, you know, the beauty in your backyard, and it's just an amazing place. We were visiting the KVIE farms for America's Heartland, the program that I work on here at America's Heartland, here at KVIE, and this is where it's at. This captures the beauty quite well. Let's go over to the phone bank and see what Heath has going on over there. Heath?
Well, what's going on is that Another World is right next to me, and it's $225 right now, which is a bell ringer, and we love that. I'm here with Elizabeth. She's on our KVIE staff. She's also a photographer. What makes black and white photography so intriguing?
Well, it's kind of more challenging than regular like color photography because you're having to take the colors down to the basis, you know, level, and it's all about the contrast and getting the different kind of levels and tones in it. It's very interesting.
All right, so you've got an interesting piece of photography right here up for bidding. $225 is the high bid on Another World. You can make this part of your collection at home by calling 1-800-270-6601. Linda finally got on the phone. She's taking a bid from somebody, but we have plenty of lines available, so now is the time for you to get in on the auction action. Let's head back to Jason.
Hey, Heath, and I am excited to see Linda on the phone there. I'm also excited to see we've got so many near bell ringers here for this half hour.
You better boost those up.
Let's get the phones ringing for our cowboy portrait and for this next piece here. Let's look at this. This is American Gothic by Curtis Hagen, and this is a great piece. Now, you're familiar with American Gothic, the classic
painting.
American Gothic painting. This is a play on that, and I like to call it American Gothic 2013, right? Tell me about that.
It's very clever. Well, Curtis was hired by this couple to photograph them on their property. They live in the Victorian on a railroad route, and actually their living room is the old ticket booth. And here they are in front of the barn, and it's just so clever how we've got this fellow in his overalls and the pitchfork, and the texture is beautiful on the shingles on this barn, but also eventually we're going to get a close-up down here of their feet, which is one of my favorite things of the piece.
If you look at their shoes, the whole piece is a play on the original American Gothic in so many different ways. You'll see similarities, but yet it's updated for current times.
It's true, and I think the photograph
There's their shoes.
The shoes.
The shoes. Let's
so
go.
The fellow on my left has tennis shoes with no shoestrings, and the fellow on my right has sandals on, and it is just all the detail. All the detail is here, and as I've said before, I love art that makes me look and look again and enjoy day after day.
You know, and one of the great things about this too is the framing of the photograph. He captured the entire door behind them and some of the wood siding shingles above that as well. Didn't just frame it up and put them in the. You get all the textures of the barn that they're standing in front of.
And as I look again, I hadn't seen before, as many times as I'd looked at this, there's a concrete block back here that is full of texture. So everywhere, the nuts and bolts, the metal, the wood, the texture of these guys with their hair and their clothes and everything, it's really extremely well photographed and printed.
And if you love portrait photography, this is a piece for you. It's so well done, and the black and white to me.
There's their shoes.
Look at those shoes. Look at that. Like you said, sandals on the guy there on your right, and the guy on the left with the sneakers with no shoestrings. Who knows what the story is behind that?
You make your own story. That's what I love about it.
And these gentlemen are a couple that asked the photographer to take some portraits of them.
That's correct.
And this is what they came up with. Who knows who came up with the idea of American Gothic, but what a great idea it was.
It is so clever.
Updated for 2013. But you can have this in your house, but you can't have it in your house unless you call, because someone else is going to. So you need to call right now, 1-800-270-6601. And your donation, your bid, goes to help KVIE programming get our great arts programming on the air, our local programming that highlights important issues in our community, America's Heartland, Nova, all the wonderful shows that you like on KVIE. But we've got no phones ringing right now, and I do not like the sound of that,
I don't
Paula.
believe that. This is a great photograph.
That's unbelievable. We need to get people on the line right now. 1-800-270-6601. I would hate to see this piece get passed up by anyone, because it really is a great piece.
Some collectors really focus on figurative work. Those collectors should be calling right now.
You know what? You're absolutely right. If that's your style, if you have another piece like this in your house, this is it. This would go perfectly.
And it's a great storytelling piece. It's a great conversational piece.
And you're the expert. When you have folks coming into your home and you have a piece of art or on the wall, how important is it to have a story to go with it?
I think, well, for me, just for me to enjoy it, it's great.
Let's toss it over to Heath over in the phone bank. Heath, what do you have for us?
Howdy there, partner. I'm here, sorry, I'm from North Carolina, I get to do that. I'm here with Cowboy Portrait, and of course I'm here with Jill too. She's been here all weekend long supporting the art auction, and so she's a friendly, familiar face holding all of our beautiful pieces of art over here in the phone bank for us. We currently have a bid of $100 on this item. Folks, now is the time to get involved in the auction and get these phones ringing. 1-800-270-6601 is the number to call. I just noticed that Henry Wurs is here from Safe Credit Union. Hi there. You're not on the phone right now, though, so we need to get his phone ringing. Now is the time to make it happen. Cowboy Portrait can be yours. All it takes is a bid of $125, and you become the next high bidder on this piece. So let's make it happen for the KVIE Art Auction. Back to you, Jason.
Hey, Heath. Last time you mentioned Linda getting her on the phone, and this time we'll get Henry on the phone, and we'll be in good shape. We need to hear those phones ringing. I'm not hearing it now, and that's troubling. Let's get those phones ringing. Let's move on to our next piece. Papi and Clover by Kemper, and we've seen a lot of black and white photography this past half hour, and this one is not black and white. You want to talk colorful? This has got some color.
It is so beautiful and soft and colorful, and it's captured, the wildflowers here in California. Let me tell you about Louis. He is an extraordinary wildlife photographer, and he travels all over the world, and he makes the most beautiful photographs. And this piece was used by the Sierra Club for a card. It's been in a poster. It's been published in magazines. And he is very accomplished, and it is a stunning piece.
And it has a value of $400, and we do already have a bid of $140, so clearly folks are interested in this piece, and if you are, now's your chance to call 1-800-270-6601. Tell me about the colors and the textures in this piece.
Well, I think that's the key. I think that's what it's all about, is the beautiful soft colors and textures, and how the focus is very soft, and you can travel, your eye can travel around the piece and really kind of be like a butterfly and light on the various flowers. You know, when you look at artwork, your eye does travel. Is this a lupin back here? You know, are these poppies and the alclover? And I just can't get enough of looking at this. That's why I buy art. And when we pull out, you'll be able to see the frame really complements the golden copper color of the frame is beautiful with the poppies, and it's just a splendid piece.
You know, the word that comes to mind with this piece is elegant to me. It really feels like an elegant piece. I think that is
the word, yeah.
And that goes right along with the framing, like you were talking about. Let's go over to the phone bank and let's see if we can get those phones ringing. Heath.
Okay, I am here with the new American Gothic and my buddy Heath. We are almost close to getting this up to the retail value. Right now, Cowboy Portrait, where are we? American Gothic 10E is at $135. It's been beautifully framed in a museum frame. It is ready to hang in your home. What a fun conversation piece to have. This is a widely collected photographer. Another art expert named Will Green is the one who had this photographer enter this year, and I was really glad that he did. So we want to support local arts, and you can support local arts by supporting KVIE. Call in now and bid, and we're going to go back out to Miss Paula.
Hey, we are so close. Oh, hey, we just got a bell ringer, Paula. That sounds great. So we've got how many bell ringers this half hour? We've got at least 3, 4, almost all of them. Yeah,
I hope so.
We've done well. I love to see this one get up to retail value because it's definitely worth it.
Well, Louis is also a member of Viewpoint Gallery, and he offers workshops and gives lectures. He is a really extraordinary photographer, and I'd love to have him. Actually, I think I might have him in my collection.
And okay, so when I look at this, I was curious, when people look at this piece, to me it's a individual color is going to pop out at you first.
What
right?
does for you? What color does for you?
Well, to me, the purple popped out first, surprisingly, because the yellow was very prominent. But to me, that out of focus purple kind of drew my eye in. How about yourself?
Well, at first, I'm with you on that, and then the lupins, looks like there's lupins in through here. But right now, I'm really loving the yummy green-blue in the background.
Yeah, exactly. The colors are just amazing, and every time I look at it, I see a different color pop out at me. But if you want this piece, this colorful, beautiful, flowery piece, 1-800-270-6601 is the number to call. We're at $225. The retail value is $400. Folks are interested in this. I do hear the phone ringing. If you think you might want this in your home, and we think you should, now is the time to call.
It's a great piece for a naturalist, for someone who is a botanist or really loves to do hiking when the wildflowers are blooming. It's a great reminder of what we have here, and I don't know how high those flowers go, but I've seen them in the foothills.
This, to me, I think springtime when I think this piece.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we're in the fall now, and it's rainy and dreary, but if you can imagine this in your house in April, in May. Can you imagine just you come in from outside and everything's green and colorful? Or maybe this reminds you of that. Maybe this is the perfect time.
It's
I knew what you were going to say.
You saw it cross my mind. Yeah, you need this in the murky fall and winter time to remind you of the beautiful renewal of spring.
I think you've got the selling point right there. It's dreary outside. Come in and look at this right now in your home. 1-800-270-6601. We can get up to retail value on this. We can get a bell ringer on this.
Easy.
No problem at all. You know, we should mention that all of the bids, all the money that comes in over the art auction over the 48 hours is all goes to KVIE. Every penny. And that helps us put on the programming that you get to see. The wonderful shows that we know that you love right here on KVIE Public Television. Help us do that. Now let's stay with us because we've got a lot more coming up, a lot more original art for you to bid on and buy right here at the KVIE Art Auction.